Now, an Emeritus Newsbrief, I'm Lynn Huston. Friday, the Labor Department is expected to release its employment figures for December. Today, we got quite a negative preview. According to the payroll firm ADP, 693,000 jobs were lost in December. Their survey showed employment in the goods-producing sector declined 220,000, the 23rd consecutive monthly decline in that sector. Employment in the manufacturing sector declined 120,000, marking its 27th decline over the last 28 months. And the Congressional Budget Office projecting that the federal deficit for 2009 will be $1.2 trillion. The agency also says gross domestic product will shrink this year by 2.2%. It'll grow by 1.5% in 2010, but the unemployment level will be above 9% by early 2010. President-elect Barack Obama, noting the CBO report, announced a new White House position, that of Chief Performance Officer, and his intention to nominate Nancy Killefer to fill that post.
For nearly 30 years as a leader at McKinsey & Company, and as Assistant Secretary for Management, Chief Financial Officer, and Chief Operating Officer at Treasury under President Clinton, Nancy has built a career out of making major American corporations and public institutions more effective, more efficient, and more transparent.
Most of the operational issues that the government faces today have developed over decades and will take time to address. But there is an urgency to begin now. I know from my experience bringing about change in the private and public sectors that government has the capacity to deliver services more efficiently and effectively. I have seen it done. And I have seen it important to work across bureaucratic boundaries. By that I mean to get different parts of government working together to deliver services that consumers, its citizens, deserve.
Well, the stock market nosedived after all of today's news. The Dow was down 245.40. The Nasdaq lost 53.32, and light sweet crude oil lost 17 cents, closing at 42.69. Consulting firm Mercer says major corporate pensions are underfunded to the tune of $409+ billion. Corporate pensions faced a similar situation back in 2003 and eventually recovered to be at a $60 billion surplus just 1 year ago. Hard to believe. Blue Cross Blue Shield of California ordered to reinstate and pay the expenses of nearly 700 policyholders that they canceled after they became ill. BCBS of California agreed to pay the expenses as an alternative to paying more than $12 million in penalties. The California Department of Insurance has come down on several insurers for the same practice. HealthNet had to pay $3.6 million in fines last year and reinstate more than 900 sick policyholders it had canceled. This all started from a Los Angeles Times investigation into insurance company practices. The Centers for Disease Control out with a couple of new reports, the first showing more patients being exposed to the risk of hepatitis in outpatient clinics due to weak infection control practices. And another report showing teenage pregnancy in the U.S. heading back up again for the first time in 15 years. Mississippi with the highest rate, 68.4, Massachusetts the lowest with 21.3. More on those stories on the Emeritus News Healthcare page. The latest on the biggest issues and public policy at emeritusnews.com. That's an Emeritus News Brief. I'm Lynn Huston.